we again? Well, now we're in 1962. The Commonwealth Electoral Act is amended, and what that means is prior to 1962, Aboriginal people weren't allowed to vote, even though we'd been here for a long, long time, and the non-Indigenous people were allowed to vote, but Indigenous people weren't. So in 1962, they changed that decision so that we were given the right to vote. And you know how Mum and Dad go and vote at the elections that we have nowadays? Like not so long ago, we had the City Council elections. Well, back prior to 1962, Aboriginal people wouldn't have been allowed to vote. So now it's all changed. So we're allowed to vote and to, put in ideas to our councils or our governments for things to change. Then coming to the next year, in 1963, there's a place in the Northern Territory called Yirrkala. Now, the Yirrkala people were sick and tired of people coming in and using them, and they weren't getting paid and stuff like that. So what the Yolngu people, that's what they're called, what they did, they set up a petition. I don't know whether you have done a petition at all, but they did theirs on special material. And that material that they used were bark paintings. Now, I don't know if you've ever seen a bark painting, but maybe you can look it up. And they did their petition, like with paintings and etching on these bark petitions, and they presented them to the government. And to this day, those petitions, I think, are hanging up in either the High Court of Australia or maybe Parliament House, I'm not sure, in Canberra. So there's something that's a part of our history, like Aboriginal history. Then going along to 1965, there was a group of university students from New South Wales, and they decided to jump on a bus and take this bus out to Western Sydney, where there's a place called Moree and surrounding areas. Now again, Aboriginal people were living in these areas, but they weren't allowed to go and use the swimming pool. So this group of people they went on a freedom ride. So they wanted to go to Moree to let those children jump in the pool with everybody else. So that was another significant time for Aboriginal people. But the funny thing was, on the day that they did this filming and everything, they let the kids jump in the pool, but as soon as they had left, they made the kids get out again. So it worked for a little while, but it was good. Those children actually got the opportunity. Whereas nowadays, you can go down to your local pool and you can jump in at any time. But back in 1965, they weren't allowed to access the pool. Then in 1966, there was a place called Wade Hill, and 200 Aboriginal stockmen walked off the land because they weren't being paid. So they wanted to be paid. They wanted equal rights for equal pay. So at this cattle station, they walked up in protest, poor working conditions and disrespectful treatment. And this group of people, they were the first ones to put in a land claim. So in 1967, we held what was a referendum, and this gave us the opportunity to vote again. So vote yes, giving the Commonwealth power to legislate for Aboriginal people and enabling Aboriginal or Torres Strait Islander people to be counted in the census. So that every now and again, every 4 years, we have what's called a census. Now this census finds out who's living in your house, where people work, who goes to school, and any other information that they may need. So that helps Australia to grow. Prior to 1967, we weren't included in the census. Again, we'd been living here for a long, long time. But now that's all changed after the 67 referendum so that we can all be counted and we can all find out if we need bigger schools or if we need bigger hospitals. This is what these census is all about. So in 1967, the Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people of Australia were included in the census.